So I have this comment here which says, perimenopause robbed me of my joy. Nobody warned me. And this is my story. If you've been here for a bit, you know that this is my story and this is my song. So this video is inspired by that comment, and it's an opportunity for me to explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, like my mission, my vision, my purpose, and my passion. Okay, so the thing is, if you've never experienced, if you're not in perimenopause and you haven't had severe symptoms, then you really don't know what we're talking about. You just think we're making a hue and cry over nothing. You know, some people say, oh, there's so much drama, or you must be exaggerating, or it can't be that bad, or, you know, suck it up. It's one of those things that happened. The truth is that if you know, you know. I never thought that there would be a time in my life where I would be unhappy, because I was so happy, you know, happy go lucky, not a care or a concern about anything in the world until perimenopause hit me in the face. And my life is good. Even then, my life was good. I'm fortunate, I'm blessed. I have a beautiful family, my husband, my children, siblings, my mom. Everything is fine. And everything was perfect, and I thought that was how life was going to be forever. I had no, should I say, real, even I knew then that I had no real problems or any worries or anything, and I felt that my life was perfect. So I understand how it is to go from, you know, being joyful and being happy, and then going to, after all the severe symptoms, you know, lacking joy, not understanding joy, not understanding what there is to enjoy in life. That's very relatable for me. Now, on the nobody warned me, I want to talk a bit about that, because I'm somebody who's always liked, you know, reading. I like to read about human anatomy. I like things about prevention, a stitch in time saves 9, you know, things like first aid. And then you know, medicine really does fascinate me. I do a lot of research online from time, you know, Google University and all of that, medical issues. And the interesting thing is that menopause is as old as time itself, and this is 2024, and it's still surprising so many women. I don't understand why that happens, because even when I think back, when I look at even the Bible, you know, it says in Genesis 18, I think it's 12 to 15, you know, that Sarah laughed. And Sarah laughed because she said, oh, will I really have a child when I'm old? I think about that, and I think maybe what Sarah was saying at the time probably was that she didn't have a menstrual cycle at the time, because that's what I can say would mean that, you know, you are too old to have children. So if it is that old, this is 2024, why are women still being so surprised? Why wasn't that information handed down? You know, we have customs, we have culture, you know, where we all are from, and I can't understand why that information was not handed down. And for me, after going to the doctors, you know, over and over again and not getting answers, not one doctor, 2 doctors, 3 doctors, 4 doctors, nobody could tell me this is what is wrong. It's a crying shame, because I feel like the medical system has failed me, and I'm one of those people who, before now, you know, was so much into, you know, you're ill, you go to the hospital, you get yourself checked out, no self-medication, the doctor has to have the answer for sure. I always had to go to the hospital if there was anything wrong. I believe that the doctors, you know, had all the information that they needed, only to find out that they didn't know. And I was just going through all those horrible symptoms. I felt like I was dying. I felt I was going crazy because too much was happening all at once. And I didn't know. And it occurred to me at a point that if I didn't know, then there must be so many people as well who don't know, and so I must put the word out there. Now, I have this feeling after going through perimenopause, after perimenopause, slapped me in the face, I have this responsibility. I feel I have to tell everybody, I have to get the word out, and my imagination is very vivid. So let me warn you ahead. I'm going to tell you how I feel about this responsibility or this calling. I think it's a calling, I think it's a purpose, and I want to tell you how vivid it is to my, in my mind. So get ready, brace for it. So the way I see this, right, we are in a shed in the forest. Lots of women, young women, maybe up to the age of 40, and we're all there. We're playing games. We're just doing things, like how Girl Scouts, do things when they go on camp. So we're in that shed, right? And then the older girls get to leave the shed first. And when they leave the shed, they're going to go into the forest. And when they go into the forest, they go like solo. Everyone goes off on their own. Our journey is to get from the shed to the shore, and from that shore we're going to take a boat and going from that boat onto an island, and that island is called menopause. But nobody tells us, right, what's happening. We just know that we're in the shed. We're supposed to get out of the shed and find our way one way or the other. Nobody's telling us any information. So we set out. So it's now I watch all the older girls go out, and they go out and they don't come back. Okay, fine. And that's what's supposed to happen. So now it's my turn to go out, and I imagine myself leaving the shed, going with the women. We're all going, not in twos, maybe just one at a time. And then all of a sudden I find that the journey is fraught with booby traps. There are landmines, there are pits, there are so many traps that can catch us. And then we find that we can't go it alone. So I have a megaphone with me, right? And I take the megaphone and I make an announcement and tell the girls that, hey, you know what, we can make it, but only if we can all make it to the shore, okay, if we all go together, so that if we go through the path, that path is tried and tested, then we know that is the way to go. And everybody, and we can kind of like leave a trail, so that the girls or the women who are coming behind us can find their way. That's kind of how I see it. So, and then somebody has to go back and to the others and leave them a map and tell them how to get to the shore safely. Okay, so I'm leading, right? And I lead all the ladies, and we are now at the shore, and we get into a boat. And when we get into the boat, there's a really terrible storm, and it goes on for so long. We don't even know where we're going. We don't know how long it's going to take us to get there. We're just in that boat, and it's really stormy. We are frightened. It's raining. We are wet. Some people have seasickness and a lot of things. And then eventually we get safely to the other side. And I've now gotten to the other side, and oh my goodness, my sisters are in that shed in the forest, thinking that it's going to be an easy breezy trip, and sometimes it's not. So I feel that I have to go back to that shed to go and tell my sisters that, hey, look girls, this is what is happening, this is what is coming ahead of us, right? So I'm going to leave a map, leave a trail, so that each person can get out of the shed, safely, and get onto that island where we would now meet with the older ladies who have left the shed ahead of us. So that is how I kind of like see this whole thing, this call. It's a really important thing for me to be able to put the word out and put out the awareness, because I don't understand still why we were not told by our mothers and our grandmothers. Okay, so even if they didn't know what exactly was happening, they couldn't put a name to it, this is menopause, maybe they didn't know, I would have felt that these stories would have been passed down, from one mother to the other. Or you may get to a time in your life and such a thing will happen, because we're capable of passing on other traditions. So I don't know why this particular one was left out, because it's so important, it's so phenomenal, it's so challenging. So I don't know why it was left out. Or from wherever you're watching, if you have a custom, right, which talks about preparing women for menopause, I would like to hear about it. If you could please share. I need to know, who was warned, who knows, because everybody kept saying nobody told me, I had no idea. Only a few people say they were warned. So can we talk about that? If for in some way or the other you were warned ahead of time about what was to come, can you leave us a comment so we can follow through and try and understand how we got here, how we are just finding out in 2024, in my case probably 2018, that this is what was in store for us, when this is something that's been as hold as time. Let me know.